Welcome everybody to our first European match of the season and also our first feature of the new standard. This is a matchup between Aric Halden at the top of the screen and Nathan Blewitt at the bottom. Both players are admins or moderators for the group. Nathan's pretty active with his content creation, did most of the editing for this. I added a few cards. And you can see he likes to brew. We're going to see some sort of black-white concoction here today. And it looks like Aric on the other side, dumping a whole heap of crappy defenders. So he's probably on an Arcades wall type strategy. Here's Glaive of the Guild Pack, the first of the new cards that we're going to have a look at. And it's kind of like an anthem for multicolored creatures get +1/+1, an artifact lord. There's a bit of an issue with connection, but we're ongoing. You can see High Alert was played. This is another new card. It's like Arcades, but it's an enchantment. I don't know why my editing is making that flash in twice. I'll have to look into that. And so it's going to be a case of, well, you can see Nathan's got Mortify. This is going to be a pretty standard card in black-white builds in Esper as well. Mortify, kill a creature or an enchantment. So the first shot has been fired, so to speak, because Aric on his side, it needs to resolve either Arcades or that enchantment, otherwise he can't do anything. So here's Arcades. So for Nathan on his side, you can see he's down to 8. His thinking is, all I have to do is worry about 8 cards. The other 52 cards in the deck doesn't matter. You can see he's got a final payment there, so it's he can pay 5 life and go to 3 if he wants, but that's super risky. He's got the Settle the Wreckage, so this is going to be a blowout. Aric swings for lethal. For some reason he's going to swing Arcades but not the Vine. Yeah, I was going to say we'll swing those two instead and protect Arcades, so that the next turn he can also attack again. So he's playing around the sweeper quite clearly there. Tithe Taker is a very good pickup here because it enables him to play 2. You can see there the new cards. I'll just pause that for a second. Tithe Taker is like a very poor man's Thalia for standard, and final payment, sacrifice a creature and or pay 5 life, which he can't really afford to do, and destroy target creature. You can see he gets a 2/2 there as well. So here's the problem for Aric. He's got 1 card and he cannot do anything because those walls do nothing except play defense at the moment. So what Nathan has to do here is find something with flying, and it's game over. Looks like Aric's just top decking lands. He's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 of them, and so Nathan's got the cast down, and this is a pretty useless card in this matchup because it's not going to work on Arcades because Arcades is legendary. So you can see he's gone wider, so Seal Away's going to cost 1 extra, but he can still take down probably Elendra. Yep. Shout out there to Aric. He's got those planes from the, I believe they're the Guilds of Ravnica guild kit lands. I don't know how he's managed to get those. There must be a new thing on Xmage. I mean, I'd almost be tempted if I'm Nathan here previously to have fired off that cast down, because he would have been chipping away, but you can see now there's 4 blockers, so he's not going anywhere. So he's got to try and work his way around the stalemate. If he doesn't have a flyer, I don't see how he's going to beat Aric's deck. So Aric's just using these to draw cards. Resolute Watchdog, I didn't bring up an example of that, but that's just another new one. Can sacrifice and give another creature indestructible. So Nathan finally has a use for his cast down because that was going to protect Arcades. And here's another new card, Revival Revenge. Pretty good sorcery there. Get a converted mana cost 3 or less back onto the battlefield, or double your life total, and target opponent loses half their life. So Nathan's gone for the target opponent loses half of their life. Here's another Watchdog, so that's going to protect Arcades again. And the top deck, another Revival Revenge. So he could chip him down. He's just looking, what have I got that's worth anything? Doesn't look like much. And so he's going to go for the chip you down again. I don't believe Aric would have any way to gain life with this deck. He's down to 4. But as you can see, Nathan's got no way to chip that damage through. And that's what he was looking for, the high alert. So now problems for Nathan, because Aric's got some attackers coming through, but can he afford to attack when he's down to 4 life? What he can do here is just sit back, because every creature he plays just makes him stronger and stronger. And he'll be wondering how many Mortifiers are in Nathan's deck, because Mortify is the only card he would have, I'm guessing, that can answer that card. Now you can see Nathan here not playing the Godless Shrine. He's going to bluff a Secure the Wastes. Both players just going through the motions. And here's another new card, Teysa Karlov. Teysa, if a creature dying causes ability to trigger, it gets double triggers, and all his creature tokens have Vigilance and Lifelink. This card just went to number 1 on EDH Rec's list of commanders today, so everyone's playing around with it in EDH. So all these creatures here have lifelink. I'm not sure why he's attacking with that high alert there, but Tithe Taker... Okay, so he was going to go for the draw. Maybe high alert doesn't do combat damage. It only assigns damage to the player, I'm guessing. But I think he'd seen enough. There's no way through that, so we're going to game 2. Midnight Reaper's handy, but one thing I have noticed with this new standard is you're going to need to have multiple answers for enchantments, because all the decks that are popular at the moment seem to have key enchantments to them. And there's his enchantment there, so Mortify. So I don't know if he's got any, if Nathan has any, say, duress effects. If he's got duress in the sideboard, it would be a kind of a narrow card because there's only really 4 targets. But when the targets are that important, I think duress could come in. Otherwise, you're just relying on Mortify. And here's Vivian Reed. So this is was an underrated planeswalker, but sees a ton of play now. And finds a Deputy of Detention, so that's another one of the new cards. Sorcerer's Spyglass, I don't know why he would have brought that in, but it's certainly very timely. These two do kind of practice together, so I'm guessing he knows what... Or 2 Arcades. That's going to be tough to beat. He does have the answers in hand. You can see that the final payment in the Mortify. But, yeah, Sorcerer's Spyglass, going by game 1, was just useless. He's going to shut down Vivian Reed. So I'm guessing he kind of knew what Aric was on to bring that in. And I wouldn't imagine that Aric would have any answers to an artifact. I don't think he would have bought in any sort of artifact removal. Certainly in his colours with green, he'd have answers, but I don't expect it to be in the deck. So here's Deputy of Detention to take what? I think it can only take creatures. Yeah, here's a new card, we'll bring it up. Exile non-land permanent. So you could get the Spyglass here and activate Vivian Reed again. It's basically Detention Sphere, but on a stick. So it's going to die to whatever. So with the trigger on the stack, he's targeting Sorcerer's Spyglass. So he wants the activation again from Vivian Reed. But Spyglass is protected. Yeah, Deputy Detention's a pretty versatile card to be able to bring in, but the problem is it just dies to virtually every removal on standard. You can see the Teysa Karlov there, but Nathan's just got a lack of firepower at the moment. He is going to be able to push some damage with Midnight Reaper, so that Ceruli Caretaker would be a chump blocker. Not really sure why these cards come in and then load the image later. I'm guessing that's maybe a slower processing on the recorder's side. I haven't really seen that before. So you can see here, he knows about these two arcades. So he's tapped out. He's about to take 6. Well, I don't know why. I don't know why Aric would only swing 1 when he can see Nathan's tapped out. He could have pushed 10 damage there. So that kind of baffles me. He was safe from settled wreckage. And so Nathan on his side's got nothing viable going on. This is not looking good. He needs removal for that Arcades. I think he's going here for the card draw. See what Aric does. Just lets him take the damage. Yeah, rather than give him a card. So he can probably push Arcades here because he's got the second one. We'll see what attack... He does have lethal, but obviously we can see the settles wreckage. So yeah, he sends the squad. There's the settle. We'll see if there's a counter spell. And there is not, so he concedes. So Nathan takes it 2-0.